Welcome back to Warthin Weekly News. This week's a bit of a long one. A lot of things come out. Starting off with the Yugumo class destroyer for Japan. It took them a while to finally come out with a Japanese destroyer, but now we have it, and we actually got to play with it, and it's actually quite awesome, in my personal opinion. Some people are quite dismayed with it. I found its guns rather powerful, and its torpedoes are awesome. Their turrets, or at least. And it's also covered in 25mm cannons. There's a big long dev blog explaining all its history and features. It has 6 127mm cannons. It goes 35 knots or 65 kilometers per hour. It has 8 torpedo tubes. Altogether, it's a pretty nice destroyer. I'm quite excited to see what we're going to get for a German destroyer. They had some pretty interesting boats. Along with it, we also got to test on a new map, if you haven't noticed. Fiji. It's a nice map. The center area is much more accessible towards torpedo boats, and if you rush the cap zone in the center, you can get a bit of an advantage, but eventually a destroyer will attempt to cap the zone, and for there you have to rely on your allied destroyers to slow them down. You can, though, easily sneak up upon them or fire torpedoes because there's not a lot of maneuvering room in the center of the islands. With this test, we also saw an increase in AA's potential. Their movement speed is faster and they're just better, apparently. There's also a few other odd changes, which I don't entirely think were necessary. A lot of people are kind of not into them, but I am ambivalent towards. It changed the markers for where your guns are facing, and they function the same as they used to. The guns are still a little bit iffy. It might be a bit of a player thing, but you just have to get used to how they function. But there was a few things I would like from the change. Aiming elevation is still like kind of iffy. It'd be nice if you could like slightly alter the angle like you can with tanks. Anyways, this time around the testing was rather fun. Along with the new destroyer, we got a Q&A, but a lot of the questions were really either already answered in past Q&As, really pointless, or just completely dodged. Some of the ones that I would like to bring up, they answered a question asking about having your commander control your turret if your gunner is dead. They hinted towards Romanian and Hungarian vehicles. They noted them as a lesser axis. I'm interested to see how they're going to work it out. They might just throw into the Italian tree. They finally admitted that the STA-1 and the STA-2's turrets are too small, and they're apparently going to fix them, which I have mixed feelings towards, because on one side, historically accurate. The other side makes the tanks a slightly bigger target, and they don't have any armor to block anything, so I don't know. I am for it in the end, though, because historical accuracy and everything. The final interesting question I found was basically them saying that they're going to add more bombs and rockets to Russian Tier 5 fighters. This brings to mind the fact that the IL-28 can carry a fuck ton of rockets. Well, on the subject of Q&As, earlier in the week, we had a representative of Gaijin going by Zerbah do sort of a Q&A with some other people, but it was mainly about squadrons and whatnot, which I don't find very interesting at all. He mentioned some things about World War mode, but we'll get into World War mode in just a second. I think the only thing that he really answered that was important is the possibility of more rockets for Russian and German vehicles, specifically for the ME-410 for a better CAS abilities. The ME-410 had a configuration of lots of rockets, so it'll be interesting to see. Now let's get back to that World War mode. They had their first test this weekend, and a whole lot of information flew out. They updated their wiki page, so if you want to read it and find out what's it all about. But what I found much more useful was a YouTuber who got into World War mode. He streamed the event, uploaded that stream to YouTube, and I should have a link to that video in the description, and I hopefully make a card of it. Anyways, about halfway through that video, around 47 minutes and 14 seconds, he basically explains exactly how the mode functions, at least to his understanding.
The way it works is we have this map here, and it's moved quite a lot. It started back here, and our officers, commanders, and I can't remember what other people move our units into a position where they can engage. Thanks for the follow. And basically, so say they'll move this tank unit to engage like, these infantry. So this tank unit engages these infantry, and then we send players to battle to take on the AI infantry, or we move the tanks to kill, we move say these tanks and kill these tanks, and then we go into a battle on LLMA, C9, something like that, and engage them and try to win that battle. When we win a battle, we get objectives and stuff like that, and then we keep moving them back and back and back until we win the battle. Basically, is how I understand.
This was met with a bit of mixed feelings from a lot of people. People kind of felt a little let down, but other people were thinking, this is just the first test, we gotta see where it goes from here. I think people kind of just overhyped themselves a little bit. I'm just hoping it's kind of like Hearts of Iron, where you could play as Japan and conquer all of Asia, then invade America, or even better, be America and join the Germans and defeat the British. That would be pretty cool. I don't know, it's just the beginning, so we shouldn't get our hopes too high. Also on that, there were some maps dug up in the CDK, seem to be for World War mode. Although don't think that these are new playing fields, they're in a literal sense maps. Somebody has spotted that Gaijin is going to be at the next Gamescom, but that was kind of expected. They're always at Gamescom. It's led people to trying to speculate what they're going to reveal, because you might as well reveal something. I'm thinking it's going to be the new ships and maybe a bit of World War mode, but it's nothing going to be revolutionary or mind-blowing. On the unofficial patch notes side of things, thanks to Mike 10D, he dug up a lot of things that were revealed later in the week, but some of the things that weren't, where it seems that there's an Italian torpedo. I'm not sure how this torpedo is used, but it's possible that this is hinting towards Italian boats and whatnot. They did have a rather large fleet, so they would fit right in with other naval forces, but there's been other hintings towards Italian fleets, so this isn't too surprising. Also on that, he dug up what seem to be tasks for a Operation Summer event, although it does not say what the rewards will be nor the start date, so just prepare to be stressed out. The Italian Air Forces are now completely out of beta. A free player can grind all the way from the bottom to the top without having to complete any form of task. To celebrate this, they have had a race event this weekend. It may be over by the time this video goes up, where you can unlock 2 camos for the G.56. The G.56 was only early a prototype, so both of these camos are indeed fictional, but they're supposed to give thanks to a fallen comrade, the man who worked on the research for the Italian aircraft tree, happened to die while doing so, indirectly. I think it was cancer. His first name was Marco. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name. But these camos look pretty cool. There's also a vehicle profile for the G.56. That's just about everything this week. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this individual video, hit the like button. If you did not like the video, hit the dislike button. If you want to see more, I make these every weekend, typically around Sunday, so subscribe and you should be notified when I put them up. Anyways, I hope you have a great day and happy hunting.